going to be Glaze charged with the foul, and that will be his first. Third team foul for the Lancers.
Yeah, that's right. And so it'll be wind-up ball.
Roberson brings it up. Darrell across the timeline now, taking his time, and you see the match up there. Picked up by Elfelt and gets it off. Swings over to Young, who fires from the corner and no good. Rebound, Brian Brown. Elfelt brings it up, picked up on Thompson. Got a mismatch here as Jeff loses the ball. Should have brought it up without any trouble, and little miss pass there, miscommunication, and goes out of bounds. It's going to be wind-up ball. So 18:31, minute 34 to go, first half, as Roberson brings it up for the Bulldogs. Over to Calvin. Calvin taking his time, and Brian Brown picks him up. He goes up with it, and he fouled Mark Logston.
Draws another charging foul, and Calvin Thompson picks up his second foul of the game.
So Calvin with 2. And Log will go to the line. As we've got a substitution now, that's Tatum. Going in now as, I don't know, who went out, Jeff?
I couldn't tell, really.
Looks like Young, no?
Oh, it was Johnson. Johnson went out.
Okay. So we're ready. Jeff Elfelt will bring it up with 1:10 to go in the first half. Jeff across near side, Mark Logston. Mark, pass for Ken Glazier, and it goes out of bounds, and it's going to be wind-up ball. A couple bad passes, uncharacteristic of the Lancers, and it's going to be Bulldogs ball, 1:05 to go. Roberson will bring it up, taking his time, and back off to Calvin. Calvin brings it up, and we'll wait for Brian to come out, and hits Maurice. Holiday will drive the lane, puts it up, fires off to airballs it, and Brian Brown rebounds. Good job by Brian, and the ball stolen from Wetzler. Log now tries to steal from Roberson, and he almost does, and they call him with a violation.
And the wind-up fans cannot believe it, and a technical is called on Roberson, and the wind-up fans have reason to be mad because the ball was tipped out by Jeff Elfelt, and it should not have been a backcourt violation there. The coach is all upset.
Roberson and Wetzler are a little mad, and he gives him a shove. And there's some hot tempers here tonight. As you're catching that, I'm glad we got the camera tonight. You folks want to see this, you can watch Tuesday. Little shoving action there, and Glaze will go to the free throw line. So Joe Roberson, a little hot there. He stays in the game. Puts it up and through. Ken Glazier with it. Jeff, let's see. Is that a foul on Roberson?
No, it's not. It's just a technical violation, and if you get 3 of those in one game, you're out.
Okay.
I believe it's 3 now. It used to be 2, but now I think it is 3.
Big Dave Johnson replaces Tatum for the Wyandotte Bulldogs, and it's going to be Lancer ball, and they can get back into this game with a field goal here. Elfelt will bring it up near side, feeds Brian Brown. Free high post. In the glaze, a beautiful play, no good. Rebound, Dave Johnson. Johnson clears it over to Roberson. Roberson brings it up. Log trying to steal, just gave him a scare and pulls up. 19 seconds now and hits Thompson. Thompson will wait for a while and dribbles it up. Calvin for high post, no good. Rebound, Brian. Uptown gets a rebound and hits Log. Log's pass intended for Dave Wetzler, and the foul called on Maurice Holiday.
I'm not sure if they should have called that one a Holiday either, because I think it was more Wetzler reaching in for the ball, but whatever the case, it'll be Dave Wetzler going to the free throw line.
3 seconds to go, and Wyandotte Jeff is clearly not getting the breaks here on the calls.
Well, they're still winning the game, and we see
11
Bastel come into the game.
11 fouls now charged to Wyandotte this half, as Shawnee Mission East has 2 against them, or 3. And that's the second one against Maurice Holiday. 3 against Kenny Taylor, who is not in the game right now. Log took a shot to the back of the neck, it looks, Jeff, and he'll sit out with a bag of ice on it. as Kelly and Logston, the two starters, are out, and Doug Hedrick is in.
Wetzler misses the free throw line, and Ken Glazer at the buzzer is no good.
Glaze is really mad, as at halftime, it's Wyandotte Bulldogs 31 and Shawnee Mission East 19.
My voice is hoarse from it, yelling so much. They're a good team. Last time we played them, they beat us by 19 points. So I think we've really improved a lot. And we had to work really hard.
What about last time they beat you? They just really kind of defeated you pretty bad. I mean, what was the case there? What was the problem last time?
Well, we didn't get into the game too fired up, and they had us scouted really good, and we just weren't expecting it. And we were kind of just all having an off night. And then and the score wasn't that bad throughout the game. And then towards the end, we started fouling, and they made all their free throws. So they put them in and helped them a lot.
Well, a lot of clutch free throw shooting in the end of this game here. Now, how did you girls feel when what was the feeling that you had when Sarah's at the line with, well, I don't know how many seconds left to go in the regulation play, and it's a tie ball game, and she has a chance that she hits both of them to put you in the lead. Like, what kind of motion was going on?
No, just thinking that she's great. It's a great free throws by her.
Well, now that you're going to state, what are some of the more difficult teams that you'll have to face there? And are there any other really super girls teams that you'll have to take on to win the state title?
The Wichita teams, I think there's two Wichita teams in there, but one of them seeded first and the other one seeded second. And they'll probably be the top teams there.
Any strategy that you used in going into this game? Did you play Wyandotte differently this time than you did last time?
Yeah, our coach scouted them went to 3 of their games, looked at what they did, and we tried to shut off what they were trying to do. And we got a whole new offense for the game, and we're trying to work it in towards the middle, get their people in foul trouble, because they don't have too much of a bench.
Well, it was an excellent performance for the entire team, and I'm sure there must have been a lot of emotion in the victory, as we can see on the court.
Yeah.
And I wish you all the luck at your state tournament. Hopefully we'll be down there to cover you at state.
All right. Thank you.
Good win.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. And we're all set for some third quarter action. East is trailing Wyandotte by a score of 31-19. As we have Mike Capito working the camera tonight. And we're getting all set for
John Allison.
We're getting all set for the third quarter tip-off between Bill Kelly and David Johnson. Johnson should control this tip as he has the past 2 tips. Kelly has a slight height disadvantage, and indeed, Johnson tips it over to Calvin Thompson. Thompson looks around and swings it over to Roberson. Roberson at the top of the key, down to Maurice Holiday. Holiday at the top of the key looks around. East in a man-to-man defense. It goes over to Kenny Taylor, and it's off the back of the rim, and Ken Glazer controls the boards. He hands it off to Jeff Elfelt. Elfelt crosses the timeline, hits Bill Kelly on the far side. Kelly looking around for somebody to pass to, takes a few dribbles, throws it inside to Brian Brown, and Brian Brown is fouled by Calvin Thompson. And that'll be Calvin's 3rd foul of the night, and Brian Brown will go to the free throw line.
Brian's playing one of his best games all year. He's up against the top prospect in the state, and Calvin Thompson, and he's doing a whale of a job.
First one by Brian is good.
How many points do you have tonight, Jeff?
Well, that was his 7th, John.
Okay.
Second one underway, brings it upstairs, releases, it's good. And so it's a 31-21 ball game. And Thompson hands it off to Roberson. Roberson's going to take it up court for Wyandotte. He crosses the timeline, looks around, and hits Maurice Holiday. Holiday throws it out of bounds in an attempt to pass to Calvin Thompson, but so it'll be East ball, and Brian Brown throws it in to Jeff Elfelt. Elfelt will be met at the half-court line by Dave Roberson. Dribbles it down, being double-teamed, bounce pass off to Bill Kelly. Kelly back to Elfelt. Elfelt to Logston at the baseline. Into Ken Glazer, takes it up, puts it through, and there's an offensive foul. And I'm not sure if the basket will count or not. Let's see. No basket, does not count. And there's an offensive foul, and so Calvin Thompson draws the offensive foul, and it'll be Wyandotte ball.
It didn't look, Jeff, like he had position on that, but I guess they're going to call it, though. in favor of Wyandotte.
And Holiday takes it down for Wyandotte, drives to the far baseline, looks around, goes an all-you pass to Calvin Thompson and puts it in. Calvin from 2 feet out. And Elfeld being pressured by Roberson, over to Bill Keller on the near side, looking around. Wyandotte in somewhat of a 2-3 zone, and errant pass from Brian Brown is taken by Calvin Thompson. Thompson goes up and slam dunks it. Calvin Thompson goes up for the slam dunk, and he's fouled. And he's putting on some kind of display. He just loves it. Calvin Thompson with the slam dunk and foul to go with it.
Well, you gotta admire an athlete like that. He's putting on quite a show, and it's really exciting to watch Calvin. Lancers are kind of smiling about it. They're showing class, and they're gonna try to bring this ball game back like they know they can.
And he makes it. And so that would be Bill Kelly's second foul of the game, and Elfeld's pressured by Roberson at the half-court line. Bounce pass goes to Bill Kelly on the near side, over to Brian Brown at the baseline. Brown being pressured by Kenny Taylor. Goes an all-you pass to Ken Glazer. Glazer goes up with it and puts it through, and he's fouled by Calvin Thompson. The basket counts, and Calvin Thompson has 4 fouls. Kenny Glazer.
Calvin went away from it, and a lot of Wyandotte Bulldogs in foul trouble as we got 3 on Kenny Taylor, and now 4 on Calvin.
Glazer goes to the line to try to convert the 3-point play, and he almost does, but not quite. And Calvin Thompson clears the boards. And Roberson brings it up court for Wyandotte, crosses the timeline, looking around. Easton a man-to-man defense, dribbles it over and throws all-you pass to Dave Johnson. Turnaround jumper by Johnson is good. And Johnson gets his first basket of the night. Elfeld brings it up court for East. Throws it, bounce pass to Glazer, back to Kelly. Kelly gets the ball stolen by Roberson, and Roberson goes up with it, and it's blocked by Bill Kelly. A good block by Bill Kelly as he keeps Roberson from getting the easy bucket, and it'll be Wyandotte ball, and Calvin Thompson comes out of the game. He will be replaced by Young. Roberson will take it out underneath for Wyandotte. Looks around, goes outside to Taylor, and Taylor is fouled by Bill Kelly. Kelly's upset.
Ball game getting a little out of hand there, Jeff, as Lancers' pride has been provoked here as they've had one slammed against them. That's the first time that's ever, well, second time we saw
at Coffeyville.
Yeah, I forgot what his name was, but
I can't remember.
Anyway, Lancers are trying to, you know, they want to show desperately that they can better execute than the Bulldogs, and hopefully they will.
5:40 left to go in the third quarter, and East is behind 38-23. And Young throws it over to Roberson. Roberson near the free throw line out to Maurice Holiday, and Holiday releases one from the free throw line. A rainbow perfect swish from Maurice Holiday. I like that name, John.
Lancers suffering their worst beating so far this year.
Elfeld inside pass to Glazer, and he's stuffed. He was stuffed by Maurice Holiday, and then Kenny Taylor was called for an offensive foul. I can't tell who drew that foul.
Mark Logston did, Jeff.
Again, Mark Logston, so Kenny Taylor has got 4 fouls. And the Wyandotte's in some serious foul trouble. Pass goes out to Elfeld, inside to Glazer, puts it up and in. Ken Glazer, turnaround jumper is good. And Wyandotte calls a timeout. They're up by 15 with 5:09 left to go in the third quarter. And a lot of Wyandotte players are in some serious foul trouble, with Kenny Taylor has 4, Calvin Thompson has 4, Maurice Holiday, David Robertson each have 2, and Johnson and Young have 1 apiece.
And there's it appears a lack of intensity in Wyandotte's part, although they're playing really well. They're getting a little flagrant with their fouling and not worrying too much about it. And if they're not serious, they're only 7 buckets away from losing their lead. And without Thompson and maybe some of their other guys, Kenny Taylor, they could get into some trouble down the stretch. So stay with us here. And that's Mike Capito giving you that wonderful picture of me. Put your arm down, Rich. I want to see it. Okay. Yeah, I said you were doing the camera, Mike. Okay, so.
And the East is down by 15. Wyandotte's got a strong, solid team, though, John. I mean, even if Calvin does foul out.
That's true. They got a lot of depth.
They've got a lot of depth, and East has got to start generating some kind of offense now.
Calvin does not look as good as some of the other forwards we've seen in the league this year, Jeff.
No,
I don't think he's playing his best game.
I don't agree with that at all.
Oh,
I don't agree with that at all.
Overall, he's shown why, but he's also been burned quite a lot for as much recognition as he's had.
No, I think you're putting a little bit too much over his head. And Roberson throws it over to Johnson, and Johnson stuffed by Logsdon. Glazer with the rebound, throws it out to David Wetzler, who crosses the timeline. Looks around, hits Jeff Elfelt. Elfelt back to Wetzler. Wetzler takes a dribble, hits Elfelt at the top of the key. He'll take the bounce pass into Ken Glazer, and it goes off of Ken's hands and out of bounds. So it'll be Wyandotte ball.
Oddly enough there, Jeff, there's a lot of bad passes, and we usually don't see that from the Lancers.
Well, it's Wyandotte has control now. And Roberson will call play as Holiday throws it out to Vastel, who's into the game now for the Lancers. Vastel back to Holiday. Holiday over to Vastel. Vastel to Holiday. And Holiday is going to drive the lane, and they're going to call that on Ken Glazer, as Ken was trying to draw a charging foul. They say he didn't have position. So Maurice Holiday will go to the line, and Ken Glazer will pick up his third foul of the game.
As a lot of fans protested that call, as it looked like Ken honestly had position there, but they'll charge him for the foul.
And it will be Wyandotte ball underneath East basket. Vastel will inbounds. And he throws it off to Young. Young around the horn to Roberson. Roberson out to Maurice Holiday. Holiday playing a whale of a ball game for Wyandotte. He's really doing a job for them. He's got 10 points. Right, Vastel out to Holiday, and they're playing some kind of a stall offense, and Vastel drives it over and throws it to Young, and Young puts it up. It's no good, and Ken Glazer controls.
With the exception of Thompson, not a lot of good outside shooters underneath in the forward and center position for Wyandotte.
Elfelt throws it over to Logsdon, down to Brown in the corner. Brown out to David Wetzler. Wetzler with a few dribbles, hits Marks Logsdon. Logsdon looking around, and he's going to throw it back to Wetzler, who's going to put it up from the free throw line, and it's up and no good. And David Johnson gets a rebound, and Brian Brown's really upset about that one because he thought it was over the back. And David Wetzler on the other side of the court gets the rebound, and Jeff Elfelt brings up the court for the Lancers. Elfelt crosses the timeline, and Wyandotte's in a 3-2 zone. Over to Wetzler, Wetzler to Elfelt. Elfelt back to Wetzler on the far side, down to Brian Brown. Over to Ken Glazer, and Ken Glazer is fouled by, I can't tell by who.
It looked like Young or Vastel, Jeff.
I think it was Vastel. No, it was Young, as you said, and that's Young's third foul of the game. And David Wetzler will inbounds off to Jeff Elfelt. Elfelt back over to Mark Logsdon, who hands off to Jeff Elfelt. Elfelt near the top of the key. He'll take a top of the key jumper up and in and out. And this time, Ken Glazer, who has position, draws a foul from David Johnson. So Johnson picks up his second foul of the game. That's Ken Glazer.
Jeff, that's 17 team fouls now against Wyandotte.
They're a fouling ball club, that's for sure. And Bill Kelly comes back into the game for Mark Logsdon. Ken Glazer goes to the line as East is in the bonus situation. And Glazer's first shot is up and no good. Ken misses from the free throw, and uncharacteristic of Ken, as Roberson takes it down for Wyandotte. Roberson off to Holiday. Holiday back to Roberson, who's going to take a step in. Throws one up from the free throw line, and he's fouled. Shot does not count. And they're going to call that, I think, on David Wetzler. And it is Wetzler who picks up that foul, which is his first. And Roberson goes to the free throw line. Again, the score is 40-25 with 2:43 left to go in the third quarter. The entire game has been dominated by Wyandotte. And Roberson from the free throw line releases. It's good. So Darren Roberson gets his first free throw of the night. Second one underway, it's also in. And Elfeld will bring it up court for the Lancers. Crosses the timeline, 3-2 zone from Wyandotte. Throws it to Bill Kelly on the near side. Kelly back to Elfeld. Elfeld around the horn to Wetzler. Wetzler to Elfeld. Elfeld's at the top of the key. He throws it back to Wetzler, who then hits Elfeld once again. He's going to take another top of the key jumper. This time it's a perfect swish. Jeff Elfeld showing he can shoot. And Maurice Holliday will bring it up court for Wyandotte. Crosses the timeline. He's going to drive to the free throw line. Throws a pass inside to Young, who puts it up and no good. Ken Glazer gets the rebound. Glazer off to Elfeld. Elfeld up court for the Lancers, crosses the timeline and meets the 3-2 zone once again. Bill Kelly takes a dribble over to Brian Brown. Brown stopped at the baseline by Johnson, off to Kelly, inside to Ken Glazer, puts one up, no good. And a foul will be called on Ken Glazer.
Jeff, on Wyandotte's last possession there, that's really characteristic of their type of game. It's kind of like Sarah Morris's game plan, where they like to drive in and pass it off. Lancers, in contrast, are not the high driving team. They like to pass it around the outside before they get their inside shot.
And Ken Glazer picks up his 4th foul of the game. And Mark Logsdon will come to the game for Ken. Fans are really getting rowdy now, as Young is at the line. One-on-one situation. And he goes off the back of the rim, and Mark Logsdon gets the rebound off to Bill Kelly. Kelly over to Elfeld. Elfeld crosses the timeline. Looks around, hits Kelly on the near side. Kelly back to Elfeld. Elfeld at the top of the key over to Wetzler. Wetzler back to Elfeld. He's at the top of the key. Back to Wetzler. Wetzler to Log. Log takes a dribble, throws it back to Wetzler, off to Bill Kelly. Kelly to Wetzler. Wetzler to Log. Log pulls up for the baseline, no good. Rebound from Young, who hits Roberson. Roberson will bounce pass to Bastel, but stolen by Jeff Elfeld. Elfeld bounce pass to David Wetzler, back to Kelly to Elfeld. Elfeld crosses the timeline. Takes a few dribbles. He's going to pull up from the top of the key once again, and this time it's off the front of the rim. And Mark Logsdon comes down with an offensive board. Takes a dribble, hits, it's blocked by Bastel, off to Bill Kelly, inside to Brian Brown, who puts it up, and it's blocked by Johnson. And the ball goes out of bounds, and they're going to give it to Wyandotte. So Dave Roberson passes it up into Maurice Holliday, and Holliday will take it up court for Wyandotte Bulldogs, as they lead by 15 points with 47 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. Roberson dribbling in, pulls up at the free throw line, puts up a shot, no good. Rebound Bill Kelly, loses control, goes to Wetzler. Wetzler off to Elfeld. Elfeld talking with Graham on the bench on what to do next, and he'll hit Kelly. Kelly over to Elfeld. Elfeld takes a dribble to the free throw line and hits Brian Brown with a beautiful pass inside, and Brown just gets the daylight stuffed out of him by David Johnson. Ball goes down to Wyandotte's end, and it's no good. Rebound by Jeff Elfeld. Elfeld takes up court. He's being pressured by Vastel. Goes over to Dave Wetzler, and Wetzler's fouled by Dave Roberson. So Roberson picks up his 3rd foul of the game, and Dave Wetzler will go to the line for Shawnee Mission East with 7 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter.
On the scoreboard show, Jeff, special feature, Richard Whitehead's going to give his commentary. As Richard, I guess you could call it, well, I'll tell you after this. Richard's the next Don Fortune here.
Whatever, John, as David Wetzler goes to the line with 7 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. Wetzler releases, and it's through. David Wetzler, 1 for 2 from the line tonight. East hasn't been doing too well from the line as they normally do. They usually hit around 80–85%, and now they're getting close to around 65–70. Second one underway, it's in. And 29:42, 7 seconds left to play. Ball goes over to Holliday. Holliday being pressured by Elfeld, who knocks it out of bounds, and once again it'll be Wyandotte ball with 4 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter. And Roberson inbounds over to Vastel. Vastel takes a shot from the baseline. It's up, no good. Rebound by Johnson, who puts up a shot that is no good, and it's a 13-point lead Shawnee Mission East is trailing Wyandotte, and now I give it to you, Richard.
Okay, at the end of 3, we have a score of 42-29 in favor of Wyandotte. Here's how the scoring went in the quarter. Glazer picked up 4 more for his total. Elfelt got 2 along with David Wetzler, who also got 2 points. They only scored a total of 8 points in the quarter. For Wyandotte, it was the big man, Calvin Thompson, picking up 5 more points for himself, and Johnson, Roberson, and Holiday both got a bucket apiece for 2 more points. So we're heading into the 4th quarter of play with Wyandotte leading 42-29 at the Shawnee Mission East Gymnasium.
And we're just about ready to start the 4th quarter of action. East is trailing Wyandotte 42-29. They don't want to let the Wyandotte Bulldogs get too far ahead.
Okay, final quarter
They
here.
still have a chance, John. They're down
for
by
sure.
13. And Calvin's still sitting on the bench. Johnson will jump against Kelly once again. And the tip, there's a referee stops it. And they're going to give the ball to East on some kind of jumping center violation. So East will have the ball at the side, fortunate for East, as they never do win the tip. Against Wyandotte, that is. And Jeff Elfelt takes up court for Shawnee Mission East, throws it off to Mark Logston. Logston's going to go ahead and fire from the outside, and he throws up an air ball. And on the fast break, it goes out to Dave Roberson. Roberson slows it down. He's being pressured by Elfelt. Loops past to David Vastel. Vastel inside to Johnson, turns around, jumper by Johnson, no good, rebound Jeff Elfelt. Elfelt takes up court for East. Off to Bill Kelly. Kelly back to Elfelt. Inside to Ken Glazer, and the ball scrambled with it on the floor. Maurice Holiday comes out with it, drills behind his back, takes a jumper from the free throw line, it's good. Maurice Holiday showing his excellent ball control. And Logston now has it for East. He throws a loop pass to Glazer, and he gets this daylight stuffed out of him by David Johnson once again. And the ball goes out of bounds off of Mark Logston's foot. So it'll be Wyandotte ball as they lead 44-29 with 7:05 left to go in this last period of play. And Mark Logston almost comes up with a steal. And it'll be East ball as he forces Kenny Taylor to step on the line. And Jeff Elfelt takes up court for Shawnee Mission East. Elfelt off to Kelly. Kelly takes a dribble, hits Elfelt over to Log. Log on the inside to Glazer, and he tries to save it as it goes off of Glazer's head and out of bounds, but he can't do it, so it'll be Wyandotte ball. Holiday will bring it up court as he tosses it over to Roberson. Crosses the timeline, and East is in a man-to-man defense. Roberson in the corner, far corner. Hits Holiday on a beautiful give-and-go play, and Holiday puts it through. Holiday's tripped up, and a lot of people are on the floor as Logston draws a charging foul, and he's a little bit shaken up on the play. And so is Kenny Taylor, who's on the floor right now for Wyandotte. He's going to get up, and Mark Logston will go to the free throw line as Kenny Taylor limps off the floor for Wyandotte. He had 6 points in the first half and has been a key player for Wyandotte, and they will send, I believe, Calvin Thompson back into the game. And indeed he does go back into the game, and Mark Logston will shoot some free throws. East trails by 17. 6:33 left to go in this last period of play.
Jeff, game getting very physical and getting out of the officials' hands now.
Well, I don't know about that.
They're gonna have to get some discipline there.
Logston's first one on the one-on-one situation is no good, but rebound goes to Ken Glazer. Dribbles out inside to Brian Brown, and Brown is fouled by
Gerald Roberson, I think.
I think it was David Vastel.
Yeah, 45.
That's Vastel. Vastel picks up his first foul of the game. And Brian Brown goes to the free throw line for Shawnee Mission East. He puts it through. That was his first point of this fourth quarter of play.